Okay, so welcome back to the channel. I just saw the Eternals movie. Let's talk about it, okay? So, this movie is packed. It's dense. It's like a neutron star. It's going to collapse under its own weight because it's so fucking thick. Oh my god, I can see why this movie was so divisive between critics and Rotten Tomatoes. It's so packed, it's so dense, it's so thick. But seriously, you give this movie a 54% Rotten Tomatoes? Dude, there are worse Marvel Studio movies, not counting anything that Fox did, or Sony, or whatever, or Universal. Like, this is not a 54% movie. No, this is a 77. This is a 77% fresh. It has a lot of issues. And we're going to discuss them on the spoiler section of this mini review. Sorry, I can't talk. I can't. The movie it fried my brain. It fried my brain because it was great. It was excellent. But so let's start. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Sorry, I have a cold. It's okay. So I'm gonna do this a lot. No, I don't snort cocaine. Nor do I think it's a hell of a drug. But it's okay. Well, no, it's not okay, but you get my point. Okay, trying to be funny and it failed. And we're gonna leave that. Have them eat me on the comment section below. It's okay. Okay, so yeah, from the beginning, this is going to be the spoiler-free section. The movie is good. It's well directed, obviously. Chloe Zhao, great director. Like, I knew she could do dramas because of No Man Land. Great movie, by the way. Go see it or rent it or whatever. I didn't know she could direct action, and that was one of my concerns. But everything was crunchy. Everything was. There were that in this movie there were a couple of drag out knuckle fights, and they were crunchy, punchy. They were just down and dirty. And when you need a spectacle, like a spectacle fight, you had it. You had it. The dialogue in some scenes was not cringy, but stagey. Like when a character tries very hard to emote, and like it doesn't work. It's like they took the first takes of some of these pieces of dialogue and just put them in the final take. Like, no rehearsals. It's exactly that. It feels sometimes like they put rehearsal parts in the movie. And we're going to talk about that in the spoiler section of this review. For the most part, the movie is about the relationship of all the Eternals and the mission that they had to do while safekeeping this planet. That part of the plot is in the trailer, so it's okay. But really, this is the movie in which you see that this director is a genius. Like, she could manage all of these different characters. Everything was shot on location. Nothing was just like like a soundstage or something like that. Everything was shot on location, and you needed that for this kind of movie. In this movie, you just go through various points in time and civilizations, and you see the history of the world and the Marvel universe, and it's kind of magical and tragic at the same time because you can see the passage of time and how it affects certain characters. It's almost like every character is like a metaphor for something. And yeah, a lot of people are going to catch that, but on your first viewing, if you just are seeing these movies just like they are, let's be honest, most of these movies are just shut your brain, have fun. But whenever you watch a Marvel movie and you don't turn your brain off and you stop eating the popcorn and you actually see the movie, you watch it, you can see all the messages that every movie has. Either found family, like trying to revert the sins of the past, or coping with something. trying to move past something or whatever, right? These movies, like every character has something like that, and all of them have different relationships with one another. Just because they're a family doesn't mean that they have to like each other. And there are secrets. They are that there are secrets. There things that they can say. Oh well, that's obviously a secret. Uh, there are betrayals. There is romance, and it's well placed, well structured. But you can see that this would benefit for being a Disney Plus series. You can see that the director was not cornered by the material, because she knew the material very well. Actually, yeah, she made some changes, and we're going to discuss those changes later. Um, but she knew what she was doing. Like, it's very different to juggle all of these characters, all the relationships, and still come out on top. And this director just did it. She works great when the camera is just is just sitting in one place, and she has these characters just having conversations. The fights are great, just like I said before, and the set pieces are incredible. But really, I could take just 3 hours of this character just talking. That is how good this movie is. Like, yeah, the dialogue alone is like, just take my money, take my money. In fact, I want to see it again. In fact, I'm going to see it again maybe tomorrow, with some of my friends. But and I know I just bragged about that the director did a great job with the dialogue, but whew, boy, okay, I can't put this on anymore. We need to talk about spoilers. Point is, if you don't want to hear any spoilers, you can just leave. I'm going to put my hand right here so you can see when we're going to talk about spoilers. Now, okay, first of all, the movie is a 7.7 out of 10. Great. It has some deficiencies in the dialogue department, most likely in the delivery of certain characters. Sprite, some of her dialogue is so rehearsed. Like, and I don't mean like rehearsed over and over and over. No, I mean like it was a rehearsed take. In fact, you can see that in one of the spots that Marvel just released when they're fighting in London and a deviant comes and attacks and Icarus just crashes into it, and she says, "Icarus!" I'm like, is that the first take? Is that a rehearsal take? Come on, lady. You didn't talk like this like 5 minutes ago. Like, what the fuck? And yeah, like, Sprite, it's kind of the weakest character of them all. Mostly not because of the actress, which she did a good job for the most part, just like we said before. But like, the character has always been like a sore thumb in the Eternals pantheon, because if you are this great creator god, Arishem the Judge, which is no longer the judge, well, he's going to become a judge later, but right now I think his name is just Arishem, and that's it, or Arishem the creator or something like that. Why would you create someone who doesn't age like that? Like, it's an eternal kid. Why would you do that? that just brings so many questions. You're an omnipotent, all-knowing creator of galaxies. Why would you do that? Oh yeah. In this universe, they changed how the Celestials work. On the past, you had the one above all, which is the god of Marvel. Then you have the Living Tribunal, which is just like the guardian of the multiverse and judge, jury, and executioner of something going wrong. Then you have the entities Eternity and Infinity, which are time and space, and each universe has a physical representation of all of them. Then you have Oblivion and Death, one being, well, death, and Oblivion is what happens when someone just dies and they forget about them. Like, even the memory is erased. It ceases to completely exist. Because you can be dead, but as long as people remember you, you still just inhabit the realm of Mistress Death. But whenever they forget you or something like that, then you go to the realm of Oblivion. And then you have beings like um, Master Chaos, Lord Order, or it's backwards. It's Lord Chaos and Master Order. You have Love and Hate. You have the Stranger. You have Galactus. You have the Phoenix Force, which is a multiversal concept, right? There's only one of them, and then you have the Celestials. Like the Celestials are like these just gardeners of life. They go from planet to planet just conducting experiments in the comics. Well, this changes. They tell you that Erishim the Judge just created everything. And then six singularities came to being, which are the Infinity Stones. And then he goes and locates planets that can inhabit life. So he can plant a celestial seed on them, and through millions upon millions of years, when life grows on that planet, it will serve it the purpose of feeding a new celestial so it can be born, and that celestial will create a galaxy. So it's a trade-off. It's like the life of billions for the life of trillions upon trillions, because one planet will create one celestial that is going to create galaxies. And you're like, okay, I can see that the moral dilemma in that specific thread, in that specific being allowed to be born. It's like, can you value the lives of this planet more than the lives of a potential galaxy? And this is the question that this movie is trying to tackle. And for the most part, they do a great job, because you see, when Thanos snapped half of the population away, the birth of the celestial Tiamut stalled, because there weren't as many people as they were before. But since everyone came back with the snap again, when the Avengers saved the other half of the universe, the birth had to continue. And now Tiamut is supposed to be born, and then you have a murder mystery, because someone killed an Eternal, and that's not supposed to happen. And the Deviants came back, and they're evolving, they're changing, and you're like, okay, that wasn't supposed to happen. What the hell is going on? And not only you have this mystery, you also have the building blocks of the universe, the building blocks of humans as a species, how we got technology and all of that. And on top of that, you have a great novella, because you have the drama between all the characters. Like, they had the discussion of interfering with humanity or not, because this celestial says, don't intervene. Just if there are deviants, intervene. If not, let them fight. As long as I have humans in this planet, it's okay. I don't care. And these Eternals, they grow attached to humanity. They have seen them change and evolve, and they grow attached. They love them, and not like a pet, but like their sons practically. Like, these guys have seen the beginnings of humanity, and they have seen the potential of good and bad, and they had this false mission in which they thought that they were just going to create a perfect world for them to live in, but they had to do it slowly so they can advance at their own terms. They just help them and guide them along. They didn't need to accelerate anything. They just have to give them enough tools for where they were in that point in time, so they can thrive and then defend themselves. But it's when they start doing wars that the Eternal says, dude, like, we can stop this. You have Druid, a Eternal that can manipulate the minds of a lot of people, if not everyone in the world. Like, he's a telepath beyond what we have seen. Mostly because, well, we only saw Wanda and she only could control like a town. The guy can control nations if he wanted. And that is one of the moral questions that they also raise. Like, should we intervene? If I have the power to do it, why don't I do it? They're my precious belongings too. They're my precious humans. I don't want them dead. But then you start to see the evolution of humanity and the evolution of these characters, and Rick comes to the conclusion that it's the imperfections, it's these little things that we have that makes us human, that we can learn from mistakes. We are going to make mistakes all the time. And he comes to terms with that. He still loves humanity, wants to protect it, but he knows that he cannot intervene as much. He's going to intervene from now on, but not as much as he would want to. Then you have other characters that are technically suffering from PTSD and mental illness, and they are perfect allegories for it, like Thena. You have the Mad Weary, which is a disease that comes with time. If an Eternal lives long enough, all the weight of their memories, it just comes crashing down on them. It's like Alzheimer's with PTSD combined on steroids. It's like, oh my god, grandma needs help. And all of them, all the cast, whenever she loses control, they don't blame her. They actually try and help her because they love her. She's part of their family. And they try to help her. And it's just these little steps that little by little she hopes, and they hope that she gets better. And at the end, you can see some modicum of progress with her condition, and that's great. It wasn't fix. It's just, it takes time. They take it seriously. People die in this movie. They don't come back. Usually in the comics, when a Eternal dies, they just print another copy and put their memory back, right? We haven't seen that. Maybe that is going to be a plot for a next movie, although Marvel hasn't said or confirmed that we're going to get a sequel. It's too soon, but I think we're going to see them in other projects and in other movies. Great special effects for the most part. Like Erishim the Judge, Tiamut the Dreaming Celestial is like, you can feel the weight, you can feel the height, you can feel everything about these guys. Like, they're ginormous. Like, one hand of Tiamut is like the size of islands. In fact, just fingers like that. Like, an island is here in my palm, like that. And the fingers just come crushing like this, and they stop, and they have a fight there, and you can see just how minuscule humanity and they really are compared to these colossal creators. And you're like, we're nothing. We are nothing. Thanos was nothing compared to these guys. But they don't intervene also because they want to just experiment. They are the eternal experiment, and they don't deviate from their purpose. Yay, puns for days. So yeah, the movie is great. Characters are great. It's kind of long. It's kind of heavy. Very good exposition heavy, especially at the beginning. We have a in the beginning type of opening credits. And there's an exposition dump like every, I want to say 30 minutes or so. And really what changes things is like, whenever a crisis like this happens in one of these movies, it's just allocated into a part of like New York or whatever Doctor Strange is, or the most catastrophic thing that we have seen obviously is the Infinity War Endgame saga, right? Like spaceships and all that. But you only saw certain amount of people react to that. When this movie ends, and you have Dane Whitmer, the Black Knight, and yes, we're going to see the Black Knight. We see the Ebony Blade. We see Excalibur, and we see the Ebony Blade. So yeah, the Black Knight is coming. So don't worry. Mm, when all of what happened at the end of the movie, you see Cersei talking with Dane Whitman, and out of nowhere, after they stopped Tiamat from emerging, because they did, um, you see that the sky, just clouds everywhere, and you see 6 ominous lights, and it's like, Eshiram is here, and it's not like that the Eternals are the only ones that can see him. No. Cersei just like stops, and he's like in this trance, and then he's like, Cersei, just talk to me, and then he just turns to the sky and sees this fucking god and everyone in the park, because they were in a park. Everybody freaks the fuck out. And I love that. It's like they haven't forgotten that humanity is just getting accustomed to this, and they run a risk of just burning people up. Like, we have the events of Infinity War and Endgame, and a lot of people are getting accustomed to these extraordinary things happening. But usually, before that is the exception that proved the rule. Like, what you were going to have, it was the attack in New York. It was another exception to that rule, and Ultron, like these big events. But you also had like the battle of Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket. You have the Winter Soldier fight. You have Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2, which were just like, I bet you guys gonna die. Try me a fucking river if I care. Thor, yeah, it was like war on the 7 realms or the 9 realms or whatever, but it was mostly just the guys in New Mexico. Everybody freaked the fuck out, and they were like, oh my god, what is that? And he just took Cersei and other Eternals and said, okay, you stop the birth of a Celestial. I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to get you that. Kudos to you. But I'm going through your memories to see if it was worth it. And if not, I'm going to judge humanity. I'm going to take my title of the judge, and I'm just going to reset the entire fucking planet. Because you mess with me. And if you mess with me, I'm your boss. You thought Icarus and Ajax were your boss? No. I'm your boss. I'm the fucking god here. I created you. And if you think you're gonna get away with that and just be happy, no, there are consequences for your actions, motherfucker. I'm gonna judge you. And if everything that I go through your mind doesn't convince me, I'm going to return here and just reset button everything. And they're like, okay, we messed up. We believe in humanity, but I don't think we believe enough for us to really believe in them. And that was just the mid-credit scene. And you're like, what the fuck are we going to do now? No, wait, no, that was the ending. Yeah, that was the ending. And we also had the usual stinger of the Eternals will return. I doubt that they were going to come back in their own movie, because this cost like $200 million to do, plus I think another $50 million in just marketing, if it was not counted in those 200 million. This movie was already banned in Saudi Arabia and China and other parts of the world, so I don't think it's going to make its budget back, especially with all the trash fire that Rotten Tomatoes has done with these 54% Rotten Tomatoes score or whatever. It's a 77. It's a 7.7 out of 10 movie. It's a 77% out of 100. It's like, it's great. It's good. Didn't disappoint. It could be better, yeah. Every movie could be better. Sound mixing is great. The special effects, for the most part, are great. The dialogue, for the most part, it's great. Just like I told you, it has very, very deep issues. They're few, but they're very deep. The acting in some scenes is like it's a rehearsal take that actually made it into the cutting room floor. But let's go back to the post-credit scenes. These things, oh my god. So we have Thena, Druig, and Makari. Yeah, they're going through the cosmos. It's been like 2 weeks, a week, and whatever, and they try to find more Eternals so they can, just say, hey, this is what is going to happen. Please don't do this. We're just slaves to these Celestials. The planets that we're supposed to guard are going to die. Don't do it. Please help us fight those guys. And then out of nowhere, like, they haven't find anyone, and out of nowhere they detect someone on their ship, and it teleports. It's a little motherfucker drunk off his ass. It's Pip the Troll. Pip the Troll made it into a fucking Marvel movie. Yes. Oh, you don't know about Pip the Troll? Oh yeah, this is gonna get so good. Okay, so Pip the Troll is a cosmic character created by, I think, James Sterling. It's part of the Infinity Watch, like with Gamora and the other Guardians of the Galaxy, but he's one of the best friends of Adam Warlock. And no, Adam does not appear in this movie. But you know who does appear in this movie? Star Fox! And no, I don't mean the video game character. I mean, actually, Star Fox, the Marvel character. Star Fox, Eros, the brother of the Mad Titan, Thanos. And I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna get this guy? This guy is an asshole. If they're doing it exactly like in the comics, this guy is a fucking asshole. But the guy is so fucking cool. And the guy is played by Harry Styles. What? And then the post-credit scene is like just Dane Whitman. He finds the ebony blade. He's gonna touch it, and he says like, "Punishment is my food," or whatever. I don't care. Like I leave for battle or whatever. And then he's like, I gotta do it. I gotta put my hand on it, and I'm gonna become the Black Knight, and I'm gonna get my girl. I'm gonna kill a fucking Celestial. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. This changes a lot of things, because if we're going to get Eros, we're going to get the other Eternals, and that's scary because there's a lot of Eternals out there that are fucking scary. Pip the Troll made it into a movie. I mean, if Howard the fucking Duck, which is one of my favorite characters, can make it into a movie, Pip the fucking Troll had to. And yeah, that scene wasn't very good rendered. It wasn't rendered very good. It was one of those times that I told you that the CGI was very dodgy. But it's Pip the fucking Troll! Pip the Troll! Dude, Pip the Troll! We're gonna get Infinity Watch! Oh man. Oh my god. Yeah, this review got so long. Oh my god. Holy shit, Pip the Troll. Holy shit, Celestials. Holy shit, Ebony Blade. If we don't get a movie, like a part 2 for this, I'm gonna be fine. Because I feel like this movie just did a lot of heavy lifting. Like, these are my pieces. Here are my pieces. Build upon my works. See my works in despair. And Chloe Zhao, Zimendius, King of Kings. Look upon my movie in despair. Now use that as a playground because I am fucking tired. Like, that movie had to take a lot of that girl. Like, man, oh man, like, oh my fucking god. I mean, you know what, this is half an hour. Just see the movie. Really, just go and see it. It's great. 7.7 out of 10. Has some dialogue problems, some pacing problems, not gonna lie, some dodgy CGI. But it isn't it's not formulaic, and it breaks the mundanity of the world without shattering it. Like, you can still have very mundane things in this world, and that's great because a mundane response from normal people in that world, in context, it's great because the world keeps changing and evolving, and so most these movies. Catch you later.